Hello, hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm in quite a chipper mood today. So I have some concepts of videos that I want to film, but I don't have time to fully flesh them out. So today, since I have time and I'm in the mood to film, I figured I could do a get ready with me. So today we're just gonna do kind of chatty get ready with me, but we are gonna cover makeup. And I want to talk about the makeup that I've, I want to cover the makeup that I have recently been using, and then also some of the replacements that I've made. I would like to do a full recap where I tell you like what I've bought so far, because if you're new here, I am on a no-buy, and I will have that playlist linked down below. However, today, I just want to share kind of how I've been doing my makeup recently outside of traveling, because I did pack a little differently for travel by plane that I would love to share. But today, let's just use what I've been using at home. So first up is the Beauty of Joeson Relief Sun Rice and Probiotics. This is SPF 50. There's some misinformation going around that this has been banned. It's not banned. You can still purchase this through iHerb or Beauty of Joeson directly if you're in the United States. I don't know outside of that, I apologize. And I have been liking this a lot. It is moisturizing, it does sink in, it's non-irritating. I haven't had any issues with it around my eyes or anything. But what I will say is I kind of miss the In Beauty. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's because it's more moisturizing, but In Beauty is so very generously sending me some PR, and it will include that sunscreen, which I'm very, very excited about. So I would love to kind of break that open before I completely finish this, just to get an idea of why it is that I think I like the In Beauty. I will say one of the things that I like about the In Beauty better is the pump. Like, yes, it's a squeezy tube and it's not a pot, because I traditionally really don't like using potted products. We'll get into it in a minute. But the pump, I don't know what it is about that. It's just so much easier, like pop a cap, squeeze, whereas this is like untwist the cap. I don't know. I know that that is very picky of me. I do like this sunscreen. It's nice. It gives a little bit of a glow. It is hydrating, sinks in, no white cast, all of the good stuff. And it is slightly higher in SPF than the In Beauty, but you know, I don't know. And then I'm gonna let that sink in for just a minute, and then I'll use the Jane Iredale Smooth Affair Brightening Face Primer. I'm so curious what I will think when I finish this up, because I have been trying to use this just to use it, because I'm traditionally not a primer person. But even though this is a smoothing primer, it's not silicone based, I don't believe. Or at least it doesn't feel super silicone-y and heavy. And it gives a little bit of an effect. It's nothing like groundbreaking or that you need, but you can tell that I've been doing my due diligence to use this, because Feel Focus, it's quite beat up, and that's because it's getting use and we love to see it. But while this sinks in, it only takes a minute. I'm so excited to share some of these things with you today, because I have been on this no-buy now for almost 4 full months. The sun, I hope the lighting's okay. And I'm already starting to feel things. And I think we're at a point where I need to go back into my collection and do like another pass at a declutter, because there's just no way that I'm going to finish most categories in order to replace them by the end of the year. So even if and I'm going with that primer, even if I declutter again, it's not like I'm gonna have to run out and repurchase pretty much anything other than like brows and mascara until the end of this no-buy. So I do think another purge is coming, and I'm very excited for that. So maybe that's what we'll try to prioritize filming, because I got a taste of having less, and especially with how I've been interacting with makeup and what I've been gravitating towards, I just don't think it makes sense for me to have even the collection that I have now, which has already been downsized a little bit coming into this year. But there's the primer, nice little close-up for you. Smells slightly citrusy, but I haven't had any irritation from this. That's that on that. where the fun starts to come in now, so those are pretty standard products. I've been using those for, well, the Beauty of Joeson for at least a month. Yeah, I would say about a month, and then the primer for a couple. But what I've done is I've switched back to kind of cooler month products in a lot of ways. And the first one of those is the Chantecaille Future Skin Gel, which I have had for some time, and I'm definitely hoping to use this up. You can see we've got like, I think a third of the product left. And I have so many thoughts about this product. So first of all, I do still really like it. And as I've been using it, it just reinforces that I still really like it. It is very hydrating on the skin and stays hydrating all day, so it doesn't dry out and look weird by the end of the day. And it's also buildable, so if I want a light wash that day, I'm able to achieve that. And if I want to build that up, I'm also able to achieve that. I can use my fingers or a brush. It's just a really nice product all around. However, a couple of things, which is number one, it is so expensive, and they did raise the price $5. So I believe this is now $90 and it used to be $85. I have always purchased mine through somewhere that I could get either 20% off, or I am a Nordstrom girl through and through. I have some videos that I did for the Nordstrom anniversary sale that kind of walk through why it is that I love it. I also think that they're potentially going back to private, which means the family has, I don't think they have majority shares anymore, but I think that's the plan, is to take it back in-house with the family. I'll have to fact check myself, but that's very exciting because currently I believe they own like 30%. Anyway, I love a good family business. And Nordstrom has just, it's always been like a store of wonderment for me, even as I was a child, and I just love them. But anyway, tangent aside, I usually pick this up at Nordstrom because I shop certain things through Nordstrom, and so I rack up rewards points, and I'll wait till I get like a $20, $30, $40 rewards amount, and then that's when I would repurchase this. But there's some things that I don't love. The price, and then also it is in a tub, and I'm not a huge tub person. I do get away with not having to dip my finger in because I'll dip the end of my brush in, and you've seen me apply it like that. Or if some of it collects in the cap like it has here, there's like, I think the protector's like stuck up in there, the sealant piece of plastic. I'll just take it off there, which is kind of nice, but I don't love that. And another thing that I don't love, and why this is like why I don't love this product, but also why I want to go and declutter my collection again, is because I am interested in products that when I pick them up and use them, I'm feeling really fancy, really luxurious, really glamorous. And that doesn't always mean that it has to be the highest price point. And this is a good example of that. While the formula of this is really, really good, and I do really love it, and I'm gonna have to figure out what I want moving forward once this is gone and my other foundations are gone, it kills me to pay $90 because even though the formula is good, where Chantecaille gets me is their packaging is not very luxe. It is plastic cap, plastic bottle, there's no weight to it, and it looks nice, sure, but it's just, when I pick it up, I'm not like, yes, very luxurious, very happy I spent this money. And that translates into other products and what I've been feeling with my collection. So while we further that discussion, I'm going to use the Rose Ink Concealer. I think there's a hair on my face that's driving me nuts. There is. I feel like I went on the hunt to start trying to dupe this concealer, and I'm laughing at myself internally because why did I do that when I have a fully functioning concealer and a backup? Like, I think I could have started that search once I got through the majority of my backup. And I know I expedited that because I was self-tanning at the time and I wanted my concealers to match. But now, even though I really like the NYX and I don't mind the Pretty Smart, they still aren't as good as the Rose Ink, and every time I use it, I'm reminded why. And even now, you'll see like it's been long enough that I forget just how far this goes. But when I'm using something like the Chantecaille and it's a little less coverage and I don't build it up, I can get away with using a tiny bit more of the rose ink. But it's going to be really hard to replace this if and when, I don't know if it's going to get fully reformulated or just the brand go under. I let my anxiety of not having this product anymore drive some consumer decisions, and I don't want to be there, you know? Because I was talking to a friend about this a while back, and I think a lot of us tend to do that. When we really like a product, we buy backups, we don't want to run out of it. But I think back to some of my favorite products to this day that are now discontinued, and even my shampoo. I was so upset, and it is upsetting, and I don't love when that happens. There is Westman Atelier in Pink Bubble to set under my eyes in T-zone. But anyway, yes, it's upsetting, and you do then have to go on a journey, and I apologize for the lighting, I'm doing my best. But it's just kind of the natural progression of makeup. Like, my favorite eyeshadow formula, and what I would still buy to this day, is the Wet n Wild of old. Like the Lust palette, that purple palette was like my go-to. And even the second gen of those eyeshadows, those have been gone for almost like, I think 15 years or at least 10 years. And I still think about them fondly, but I'm living my life just fine without them. And even if I had hoarded them to the point where I still had enough, I'm not going to be using those daily on my eyes. And I think we just sometimes need to accept that a product more than likely is not going to be around forever, although I would love that to be the case. And it's just the nature of the beauty industry right now. And something that ties into nicer packaging is I have been wanting to get nicer packaging that is refillable so that I can kind of find my favorites and stick to them, because that's kind of the type of beauty consumer I am anyway. Like, I do love to test things out, but even when I'm allowing myself to spend and test, I'm consistently going back to the same products over and over again, because I'm just a creature of habit, especially when it comes to my makeup. And the amount that I play around versus my day-to-day life, I'm just someone who sticks to something. So it's really interesting to me because we just don't have those options really with beauty. And I think Lisa Eldridge has done an excellent job with that lipstick release, because it is fully recyclable and it's the type of packaging that I'm talking about. Like, that's aluminum and it feels, well, I don't know, I haven't touched one, but it looks like it feels luxurious. It's beautiful. Interacting with it is probably a lot more kind of glamorous and fun than interacting with a plastic lipstick. And there are products that I'm not going to be collecting a ton of. The Westman Atelier powder is a very perfect example of this, with one caveat, which is these compacts are so heavy and so luxe and beautiful, and the formula is great. So it's like a step above something like the Chantecaille. However, even though this is refillable and there's a place to pop it out, they have not released refills. And how do I know that? Because I bought the translucent, I used it all up, finished it, and I couldn't buy a refill. So I had to buy a whole new compact. Now, I was talking to Tom, Miss Tom, and we came up with the concept of Franken makeup, and like maybe I just try to find a pan that will fit in here, or like buy pans that will fit in here and then repress things. But like, this is what I'm looking for. And on top of that, I'm a little over the majority of cream products. However, I am going to use one now because Westman Atelier is another brand that does it for me in this regard. The packaging and the formula is amazing. And I excluded Biscuit in the foundation from my collection videos that I did because these are so old. These are at minimum 3 to 4 years old. And I love these. The packaging, again, it feels nice and heavy. It's beautiful. Snaps closed, but again, they're not refillable. And I think they could do that, and they've said they're going to do that, but they're not delivering on it for whatever reason. But I still have a decent amount of the foundation left, and I have a ton of the Biscuit left because I am fair enough that I don't need too much. It doesn't look like much, but it will last, believe me, because this has lasted quite a while, and I did use it quite a bit. And I have been enjoying this, but I went in and pulled it out of my reference bin that I mentioned I had, because I was like, I know that it's very old, but let me test it. It smells okay, and it also didn't break me out when I tested it. So I think I'm going to continue to use those products. But I just think Westman Atelier is one of those brands that really hits this mark for me. Another brand that hits this mark for me is Olivia Palermo. However, I have all of the eyeshadows, and I'm not a huge bullet lipstick person, so I never purchased the lipsticks or the primers, but I loved the lip balms. And as I was going through my collection during the first kind of declutter and organization, I started using my Olivia Palermo lip balms more often. I had always used them, but I test so many lip products out because that's one of my favorite categories to test, that they kind of got left by the wayside. So I picked it back up and it had gone off, which I was really bummed about because I do really love that lip balm. So I went to see if I could purchase it again. Olivia Palermo Beauty is no more. That makes me very sad because they hit the sweet spot. Their prices weren't Chantecaille high or even Westman Atelier high, maybe a little bit more comparable to Westman Atelier. I think I paid $58 for those eyeshadow palettes. But again, gorgeous formula, beautiful, super heavyweight packaging, worth the price point to me, and just an absolute pleasure to interact with. I'm not using them today, but those weren't refillable. I know the Lisa Eldridge are. I know I'm all over the place. I'm just kind of info dumping. But I tried the Lisa Eldridge lipsticks. There we go. I tried, you might see Frank's old breakfast. Anyway, I tried the Lisa Eldridge lipsticks when she very first launched the brand years ago. And again, I'm not like a bullet lipstick person, and I just didn't find anything groundbreaking about them. Beautiful packaging, and that was like one of the first real like fancy bullet stamping brands that we saw, and I appreciate her as an artist as well, but I wasn't interested. And then I don't know, the foundation I just never got super excited about and felt like I needed to spend that money on. The only thing that I would consider are the eyeshadow palettes. And I love them because they're refillable, but honestly, I don't see myself purchasing those until I would run out of, say, the Olivia Palermo. Or, yeah, I would say Olivia Palermo because I feel like the color stories are not exact, but there's enough similarities that I don't feel the need to have both. I don't know. You'll have to let me know if you really find that Lisa Eldridge is worth it. And I'm very excited to see where that brand goes in terms of like maybe different products. What I really wish people would start doing in luxe packaging that is refillable is blush. If I have not proven myself with condensate, I'm someone, when I find a good everyday blush, I'm using it every day. And I remember this one shade from Estee Lauder that I got in one of those gift with purchases, I think. It was in a little quad. I used that completely up, and I'm not exactly sure what shade it is anymore. But I looked into doing that, but the jury's out on them. I need to do some research because the owners of Estee Lauder, which I know is not technically the brand, but it is kind of, and they own other brands, but I think there were some donations made to causes that I don't believe in. So the jury's out on that, but I just can't find the blush, and I would love for Westman Atelier to do it in the same compact, because that would be very nice because I already have one, and to do refills. But if you're catching my drift, I want luxury feeling products. It doesn't have to be like a Chanel or an Armani or a Gucci or anything like that. Just something that feels nice and luxe and heavy in the hand. I don't love weighted plastic, but I wouldn't mind if the cosmetics case was durable and refillable. And I do think, I keep saying it, Westman Atelier is the closest I've found because Kjaer Weis is so cream driven, and the formulas don't really mesh with my skin. Westman Atelier is a little closer, although the foundation doesn't quite hit the mark. The other products do, but I'm just in a powder mindset because it's so much more sensory friendly to me. I don't get like the sticky transfer. I don't get the stickiness. I don't have to be as mindful about touching my face and things like that. And I just, yeah, I'm in a powder mindset, and that could also be the cooler months, but that doesn't make sense because I do have dehydrated skin. However, powders come a very, very long way, thankfully. So dehydrated skin gals like myself can use it, but yeah, let me know what brands you think I would jive with, because even though I'm on a no buy, what I've been working on, and we can do a video of this, but what I've been working on is a Canva where I'm popping in all of the luxury options that either meet or kind of meet those requirements I just told you. And after this year-long no-buy, as I start using products up and needing to repurchase in some of the categories that I don't foresee that being this year, I can start putting the money towards the one-time investment of that nice product and then refill it. I'm also doing this in my body care. One, it's more environmentally friendly. Two, it takes the guesswork out of things. And three, it's just so much nicer. I am considering doing the powder blushes from Jane Iredale. This packaging is very nice. It's aluminum. It's not quite as heavy as the Westman Atelier, and it's quite kind of plain. However, it does feel durable, and it is refillable, and it is the same size as the foundation. So I am looking into that, maybe asking for one of those for Christmas. But yeah, it's just, it takes the guesswork out of it. It allows me to spend less over time on a product because I'm using the one fancy thing and I'm just buying refills. And I'm not gonna lie, there's something so satisfying to me, especially with body care and skincare, of like refilling the package from something. It makes me feel like a little chemist or something. I don't know. But that said, I did empty my e.l.f. brow gel and brow pencil. So I did accept some PR from Billion Dollar Brows, their Color and Control Tinted Brow Gel and their Brows On Point Micro Brow Pencil, both in the shade Taupe. It is much, much darker than the e.l.f. and it also is more creamy and lays down a lot more pigment, both the gel and the pencil. So I do have to be very careful, which I'm not super in love with, but they do a nice job. They're just not as like mistake proof and beginner friendly as the e.l.f. and I have to pay more attention, which I'm not always in the mood for day to day. But I'm thankful that they sent it to me in PR because I didn't have to repurchase anything, and it also let me try something new. The jury's out on them, but right now, if you ask me, after using these for a few weeks, I would go back to the e.l.f. and then Merit if we deem them worthy of platforming. Which I'll just add here, I did add a comment to my last video. Thank you everybody who showed up. It was respectful, everyone was kind, and I can't say thank you enough and how much that means to me. However, I backtracked a bit on my feelings around Merit. It seems like they did not donate, they did not endorse, but there still seem to be things that people bring up and it feels murky, and I don't know what to do with that. I need to sit down and do more research, because if I platform them, if I talk about them, if I give them my money, like their brow products, which is why this came about. I do love their brow products. If I want to do that, I need to make sure it fits the ethos of my channel. That's all. That said, let's do some eye makeup because the two things I'm using today are technically new. And this is why we need to recap where I'm at in my no-buy, because I broke my no-buy, how many times? I broke my no-buy for two things, and this is one of them. It's been a while since we chatted, so I did purchase the Ethereal Eyes Moonlight from Makeup by Mario, and we'll get into why I felt that this was an okay break to my no-buy in that recap, but just know it's beautiful and I love it. And even though it still looks kind of new, I've been using it. You can kind of see the fingerprints in there. Been using these two a lot, and it's crazy to me that they look like they haven't been touched. Very interesting. You can kind of tell with this one. I don't know. All right, I'm just going to do like a simple look. I've got some meetings to finish. And then, goodness gracious me, we decorated for Christmas early because why not? We need the joy. And we gotta finish putting the ornaments on tonight. I'm not sure when you'll see this, but I'm speaking pre-Thanksgiving and all that good stuff. So this is the earliest I've ever decorated. It just felt appropriate. And honestly, if I'm gonna put the effort in this year to decorate, I want it up for as long as possible. So is anyone else? I saw my good friend Megan, who is very active on this channel. I saw that she did, but yeah, let me know if you've done that. I also think that's part of why I woke up in such a good mood today, because I haven't been sleeping well. And as soon as I woke up today, I don't know why. I think it's because a meme on Instagram, which if you don't follow me there, I haven't been super active, but I'm back, baby. We grieved, we sat in our feelings, and now we're taking action and we're back. But I saw a meme that was like a rendition of A Christmas Carol, but to T-Pain's song, what is it? Boots with the fur, get low. That's not what it's called. Anyway, that Boots with the Fur song, you know what I'm talking about if you're around my age. Anyway, it reminded me that the Yin Yang Twins have a Christmas song, and it's ridiculous, as you would expect, in the best way. And so I immediately woke up and turned that on my way to get coffee, and boy, what a difference that made in my mood today. In the best way possible. So I know this is going to be a decently stark difference to the mood from the last video, but this is an example of coping strategies. Yin Yang Twins Christmas music, there you have it. And also, I should add that we just need to talk about coping strategies. I keep saying that, but we do. Things just kept popping up. But that's the eye look. I just used this shade in the crease, this along the lash line and in the outer corner, this shade all over the lid, which this palette really is truly, well and truly gorgeous. I'm sorry, I pointed wrong. This one. This one is very pretty, and I think I used that in the last video, but use this one today and then a pop of that in the inner corner. We'll talk about it in the recap, but I have really been loving the palette. Whoa. But the last thing that I'm gonna use today, I haven't been using. So the rest of this I've been using pretty regularly together. And I don't know if I mentioned, but I use the Matte Glow Play Blush in Blush Please. I've been loving this. It is not quite a powder, but it goes on the same way and it's not sticky. But everything else I've used regularly. The last thing that I need to put on is mascara, and I did empty my tubing mascara on my latest trip. So that's going in the empties. So I have been using tubing mascara more. It really depends on my mood. I think I will always have tubing, non-tubing, but I needed to replace my tubing mascara. And so in the Sephora sale, I went for the Creal. Let's look this up. It's Creal, Sarah Creal. She intrigued me, this brand intrigued me because of the same things that I mentioned before. Luxury feel, heavyweight packaging, gorgeous to sit on the vanity. Now, she does have the eye cream. It looks like it's refillable, but I don't believe... Okay, actually, redact that. There are some products, mainly for right now, just the eye cream that is refillable, and she already has refills on the website. Love that. The price is not that different from the packaging and the refill, but I appreciate the sentiment. And I'm like hoping that she will come out with compacted powders like blush and powder and things. Would love to see that. But I decided to give it a go. It's a lot more than I typically like to spend on mascara. The most I've spent in the past, well, that's not true. I tried the Victoria Beckham. That's probably the priciest concealer I've tried, or mascara. But I'm very excited. It smells like mascara. There's only this black shade right now, so hopefully they'll expand. The tube is so fun. We're opening and playing with this for the first time. I'll pin a comment down below on how this wears throughout the day and removes tonight. But it has my favorite kind of natural bristle. It's probably plastic, but you know what I mean? Like not the little spiky brushes, but like the true bristle brushes. And it looks like it twists, has like an hourglass shape. What I've seen people say of this is that it is a very natural kind of wispy lash. I'm kind of hoping that it is close to the L'Oreal, because that L'Oreal tubing mascara that I just finished is like gone now. I couldn't find it anywhere, so that stinks. The e.l.f. is not quite the same. It's not as dry and as volumizing of a formula as the L'Oreal is, but I do think that this is the new L'Oreal replacement, and it is very pricey, so this might be an item that I only purchase on sale. It is very nice. I'm getting a decent amount of volume, and it's definitely a lightweight tubing formula, so if I would have curled my lashes before this, I think it would be giving me everything that I want. It is not as lengthening as, say, the Thrive and maybe even the e.l.f., but it is very wispy and volumizing. If you like wispy volume, I think this could be the one. And it just layered on itself really nicely, again, because it's that lighter consistency than the Thrive, closer to the L'Oreal. The e.l.f. is not quite as lightweight as this, and this is before it even dries, so this is very promising. I typically do not like the effects of a mascara right after I open the tube. I might be very, very happily surprised with this. And I think, like, in terms of like my spending, I think I would be okay with a pricier mascara like this for tubing if it blew me away, because there's not many tubing mascaras that blow me away. I've tried quite a few. And then just kind of use Beautypie or a more affordable non-tubing formula, so that I'm not buying luxury in both, you know. And this is my main, because I do stick to tubing for the most part. Let me fix the lighting. And by fix the lighting, I mean we're just shifting around my room, but I do think I really like that, and it's so fun. I just want to be able to display a minimal collection on my vanity and it be fun, and then in the drawers of my it'd be pretty and functional, and just bring me happiness to look at and display. And then in the drawers of my vanity is where I can keep things that are there more so just to play around with, and that's where I would like to maybe not spend as much. So the other thing too is, when I'm talking about making these changes, it's not that I'll never purchase affordable makeup. I love knowing what affordable makeup works for me. So in the event that I'm traveling, or I don't know, just anywhere that I might need to grab something really quick from the store, the drugstore is just so much more accessible. And especially if it's like, I didn't bring my makeup on the trip, I need a concealer. I'm probably not going to want to go drop luxury prices or even like higher than mid-tier prices for that specific instance, knowing that I have like a full concealer at home, that type of thing. So it's not that I don't want to be familiar with more affordable products. And before I dive into this next tangent, I just put a little bit of the Summer Fridays vanilla, because my lips are, the changing seasons really dry me out. I'm gonna line with Makeup by Mario Smoky Pink. I've fallen back in love with this. It's a small one. It came in a set, I think last Christmas. And I do really like this color, and I don't feel like removing my lip gloss, so we'll see how well this works. This wasn't a main selling point to me before, but knowing that I can apply it over a lip balm and it still writes is nice, because not all pencils do that. But that said, what I was saying is, I still like to be familiar with cheaper products. I also, if it's something that I know, like a black lipstick, for example, I'm gonna go with a Milani or something, because I'm not gonna wear that much. But for the products that I'm wearing day in and day out, I think I could justify and make sense of purchasing the things that really excite me and bring me joy, like the Westman Atelier powder, like this mascara so far. Again, pinned comment. I want to do that because I think it would help me keep the collection small. It would definitely make me rethink just swapping out another product, because I'm in love with every aspect of that product. I'm not just in love with the color, I'm not just in love with the formula. I'm taking the time to really like the experience of it, the formula, the packaging, the color, all of it has to hit that criteria, and I think that it would make for a really lovely collection. And then for my lips, I keep going back to this. It's just a good product. It's the Ulta Plumped Up Pout Lip Balm, and this is in Girl Crush. It's also a really nice color, slightly minty. Definitely gives you a plumped effect, but more from the shine of it and how it hits, especially if you have a double lip line, how it hits that area. It just looks juicy and pouty. I don't get a lot of like actual plump. It's not a strong mint feeling at all, so it's also very moisturizing. I love it. But yeah, I just kind of word vomited my thoughts on where I'm at with makeup, because I'm bored with current collections that are coming out, minus a few things like Sarah Creal and some of the launches from very specific brands that I already know that I love. And I just want the experience to be special each day, because I do want to romanticize every minute detail of my life, and that doesn't mean going broke to have the Chanel of it all, but like I want it to be a pleasure to interact with. I want it to be high quality, long lasting, and I also want it to be environmentally friendly if possible and look nice out on my shelves. Let me know if you, because I know some of you are doing the low buy. Let me preface. I know some of you are doing a low or a no buy. Let me know if you're feeling the same thing. It seems like this is like a typical thing that people go through when they're doing a no buy, and I think it's because when you have so much stuff in whatever collection we're talking about, it's hard to manage those things, both in your mind and in keeping, you know, track of all the things you have, but also physically, like putting things away is harder, organizing it is harder, just maintaining it is harder. And so when you start to kind of declutter, use up what you have, and more space gets opened up, those dopamine hits far outweigh shopping for the next thing, at least for me in my experience. And that dopamine is right now, my brain is going more. So it's like, get us down small. I'm very curious, because I do plan on sticking to all the rules of my no buy. I'm very curious if this feeling is going to last through to next year. And I think the thing that hinges on is if I continue to do my makeup in a very predictable way, because that's what it is. Like, even though I'm using different products right now, overall I'm doing similar colors and finishes on my skin enough that it would make sense to invest in staple products and not have to keep trying new. It's like, this thing is what I love. I know I can use it quickly, but I'm curious if that's gonna last through the end of the year. So if you're on a no or low buy, let me know if you're experiencing that, or even if you watch this type of content, if that's something that you notice as a pattern. But I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope it was fun to hang out and get to see the products I'm using. Again, I'll put down below how the mascara worked out, and I hopefully will see you in the next one. Bye.